Hello there, guys. I just wanted to quickly go through an extra part here that I just realized I made a mistake. I did something slightly different that might confuse you guys. So what I did just now in terms of the AOVs was that I had this beauty path selected, and then by having that selected, and you go through the individual aspect of the lighting, for example, albedo, and you double click on it, you can see that it's being added automatically to the actual file. Imagine this is the file, and these are all the things that are going to be all the layers that I told you about in the EXR you can put together. So you will have albedo, you will have all those included there. So ideally that could work, but that probably can make things a little bit more complicated for you. So what you should do is, I'm just going to delete that. When you start from scratch here, don't have anything selected, just click here to have that deselected. And then if you go into, for example, albedo and double click, you can see that it creates an extra file. So there will be an extra file called albedo, and I think that will be easier for you guys to manage. So again, deselect everything and then go and double click on direct diffuse. You see an extra file, and then here direct specular. Okay, deselect, indirect diffuse. Okay, and deselect here. So okay, how can you, yeah, deselect here, and then you go indirect diffuse, direct specular, indirect specular, double click, and you will see an extra entry here, and that's it. I think we had albedo, we have direct. You see, this will be one file, one file, one file there. So it will be albedo, direct diffuse, direct specular, indirect specular, indirect diffuse, indirect specular. And I think the one that we did because of this project was transmission, this one, transmissive glass low. So double click on that and you see an extra entry. So when we render this using the batch render, it will produce here in the file content here, you will see that we'll have, for each one of them, we'll have a file. The problem that we did before, like I said, that by having the beauty selected, essentially what I did, I put all those layers within the same file, and you can double check that by obviously this is not the ideal, this is not what you want you to do, but this is what happens. So I'm gonna go here into there. You can see I opened the file here in Fusion, and you can see by this is slightly different from what we're gonna be dealing with in DaVinci, but this is the Fusion Studio as it is. You will have an entry here, and you can see in here you will have RGBA, but then for every RGB you will have all the files inside here. So if I want to do albedo, I have to select albedo red, albedo green, and albedo blue. And then you see I'll have the albedo. You see? Let's get rid of the checkerboard thing. You can see there? So that is what the issue that we have now. So by doing what I just did inside here, when you hit render, then you will have those files individually. So you don't have to pull them out, each one in from the layer, because it'll be more complicated. You will just have to have one that is albedo, one file that is direct diffuse, another one indirect diffuse, indirect specular, all individual and so forth. So that will be easy for you to composite together later on instead of trying to actually select each one of them and then make a copy, select the other one, put it together. So just a quick recap on there. So just to do that fix. So remember, don't if you have beauty selected and you double click on this, it will be added to the same file. By having nothing selected, then you can just double click, and then for example, if I want to do anything like this, I don't know, direct spec, just double click here, and you see it creates an extra entry there. So I'm just gonna delete that because I don't need that. So here you go. So you got all those elements. This is pretty much what you need. You can have it here. You go albedo, direct diffuse, direct specular, indirect diffuse, indirect specular, and in this case, because I have a glass, I added a transmissive glass lobe. But if you were having things like surface scattering and all that, that would be different. But we don't have any of that. But so I didn't put any of that in this render. So that's it, guys. When you go here into rendering, render, batch render, come back, go for a coffee, come back, and you should have your files open in here. Save. So I'm gonna do that now because I already saved them. You can see these are the one that came out, the one with the shadows, the hold out matte, and then the one with the everything together in a single file. You will see it different from the other one when I put it render here. So that's it for now, guys. I'll come back with the solution soon. All right, as soon as that is rendered, then I'll come back and I'll render the final part, which is putting it all together in Fusion, and then how to render it. Okay, thank you very much. All right, bye-bye.